have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
10 for 1 in America.
10, 110.
10 for route, Massa.
Go ahead. 10-4. 29 minutes. Go ahead. Notify rescue fire police for search. 335.
35.
Did you say when you got the original call that mom went on a run and when she came back that daughter was gone?
10-4, that's what the father advised. He's at work about an hour away, trying to make his way home.
10-4.
C12 Central. C12 will be in or out. 906. 10-2.
29-6. Notify 302. I had him on the phone with both of them. You're answer any questions he may have on him.
10-4, do you want us to try to contact the canine?
Let 302 know, and I think he's going to let rescue make that determination.
Yeah.
29, go ahead.
302 has been notified. He also wanted me to just remind you to be sure, check the house, camper, even if they said they've already had.
Yeah, boy.
Hawkins County Rescue Squad, all members, mutual aid request, search and rescue with Churchill Rescue Squad. Staging area is going to be at Mount Carmel Baptist Church on Beach Creek. Hawkins County Rescue Squad, all members, mutual aid request from Churchill Rescue on a search and rescue. Staging area is going to be at Mount Carmel Baptist Church on Beach Creek. Also requesting to respond with six-wheeler and command trailer. First page, 1911. 502, sir. 502.
We acknowledge the page and the resource request. We've got several here at the station. We'll be en route in just a second.
Copy, acknowledge the page and resource request.
707, 715.
Go ahead.
The 1043 is Park Grant Building, reference to 1044. The rescue. Go ahead, go rescue floor. And Ranger, rescue squad, command trailer, all three.
Copy.
339. 39 to 41. All other units are tied up on this here, correct? 10-4, I'll be using your direction. 10-4, I'm leaving the Alto here.
For the complainant or the suspect? That's it. 806.
Go to.
Yes.
Is 317 on the scene.
16's en route.
Detective Britt, is he on the scene?
We've not been advised.
10-4.
Dan trailer to 302.
Go ahead.
Britain's on scene.
10-4. 29 seconds.
29.
Get hold of 334. About them, we need 2 units to come in to answer calls, please.
Make contact with 34. He's gonna get 2 units.
10-4, just advise us not to send them over here, just for them to answer full calls, please.
10-4, I got them.
37.
50.
Myself 41 has it cleared by the time them 2 units go 10-8. Give one of them a welfare check on country line. We go 10-8.
2949.
29-47.
Which direction did you go?
Under the Mount Carmel Freewell Baptist Church.
49-20. Go ahead.
Central Dispatch 1205. Oh, 1205 B1097, Mount Carmel Church. $14.15 to Central. $14.15 to Central.
14-15. Fire Department, small members, car 1415 on scene of the LZ. You can signal 9 your response.
LZ command to Highland.
LZ command, they're on the EMS channel.
Roger that.
Just available for calls. We do have a pending welfare check.
29-34. 41 is in the upper end by itself and 39 and 50 is in the lower end. That's all I've got available right now.
Roll call be direct. Yes, sir.
I heard 34 is 10-8. Which other unit stepping in?
14 advised. What other unit is 10-8? We're going to go 10-8. 302 wants to know.
LZ command to Central.
LZ command.
Helicopter sent on the ground.
10-4.
Your other units to go 10-8. And while Willow and Gotchi's over here take care of county. 29-34. 29-34. 49's over here with us. He was working with us. So you won't be able to reach him. Ecom 302. Okay, copy 302. 10-4, they're set up here at the line. 10-4, I got it. 34, 44, 5.
LZ Command to Central.
Go ahead.
Helicopters back in the iron. 1402 and all personnel will be released from the scene. Instant command terminated.
10-4.
301, I'm on my way to that.
Decom Central.
Decom.
Can you log in the cab that it was Redwood Senate 1008?
10-4. 801.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Last time I had technical issues and I couldn't play my videos, but I'm assuming you guys were hearing that. Can you hear me okay? Seriously? Turn my volume all the way up. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me? Holler if you hear me. Someone tell me if you hear me. You guys can't hear me? What the hell's wrong with my shit? Oh, sound is great? Okay. No one can say you can hear me other than one person? Come on. Oh, okay. Let's explain what this is on the old screen here. So let's just get this out of the way. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. So apparently this little thing right here was in a Discord, and I make Ellie sick, and I make Six Up Media sick, and I make whoever may be the Outlaw 55 sick over, let's see, Ellie had shared my post that I made, on my community post a couple days ago, a week ago, however long it was. She shared that, and then said that I make her sick. And that post was about, I was making a point of, don't fund the grifters. Don't, go for truth. Quit slinging your money around. That's what all that was about. But that post right there makes her sick. Well, I had this vile, not so young lady. Let me take that off because I'll figure that out. She goes by Archangel, and then she did a live on me under a channel called Dark Journey, I believe it was. I shared that also on my community post because she called it a dirty delete. And the whole fucking time she called me out of my name, lied. I don't get people like that. I just don't get it. I mean, there was something said. I'm going to go to my YouTube here and I'll find it for you. It was something that I said, and she stopped in the middle of me talking and then turned it into, I called Ellie a suspect, and I didn't. So we'll play that real quick and then we'll move on. We will clear that up. How about that? I think this might be it. Oops. Okay. You don't necessarily have to watch it, but I think you can hear it. No, let me let you watch it because I think it's always interesting what people say in chat, you know. Because this lady who was doing, she played my deleted live, which I ended up putting it up. I put it back up. I listened to it, and it wasn't that bad. I took it down because of the audio issues I was having. But since, you know, someone wanted to call me a grifter and a whatever list of names she called me, I figured, okay, I better put it back up. So, see, there I go humming. I guess I'm not allowed to hum. She made a big shit about everything I did, which I do apologize for. I guess I've got some really great speakers on this computer because I'm at normal space. You know, I'm sitting in front of a table with a computer on it, and I was eating some candy. And the candle candy wrappers was making a lot of noise. So I do apologize for that. That was quite rude. But I'm not going to apologize for humming or anything like that. That's silly. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Go here.
Yeah.
But I thought that was just really something that you would say to all people, you know, invested into this case. Of all people, you would say that to me when, you know, your best girlfriend, your managing moderator, talks about Ziggy and Fred, you know, quite often, and she's really good friends with a person of interest.
What?
Sister, and has really involved herself in some.
Whoa. Person of whoa. Okay, Kirst. I want a receipt. I want a receipt, bitch. Where has it been said that the sister, Ellie, is a person of interest? Where? You are a fucking bitch. And now you've really got my blood pressure boiling here.
Other people's. Well, that's all it takes. So you see how she cut me off right after I said I was getting ready to say sister. So what I was saying was that Six Up Media was best friends with Ellie, which is a person of interest sister. I was not calling Ellie a suspect whatsoever. So her whole life was, in my opinion, trash. And apparently she's going to be a new review channel. I seen her review some old stuff of Ziggy's. She's vile. You're nasty, ma'am. You're nasty. Okay? Get a day job. There, psychic lady. Sorry. So, when I was originally going to go live, I was going to go over Chris McDonough's interview with Fred and Ziggy, but really it ended up just being, it hit on all the points that we've heard before from him, like his timeline, Knoxville, Cotton, you know, just everything we've heard. Some things were slightly different, as always, and that's why I named the live script Slowly Something Forgotten. So then I seen Killer Looks put out a few videos the past few days, and it's not that I have a problem with Killer. It's not that I have a problem with the trafficking theory, you know, because of course it is, but it's what is being put out there, where all the information came from. Like the third video that Killer put out, he was trying to show that, you know, he lined up that he did find a Dennis Smith. I believe it was a Dennis Samuel Smith. But the dates lined up that this guy went to jail with Fred, but I could be mistaken, but I don't think they were drug charges. I believe they were theft charges. So that doesn't line it up. That doesn't show that this dude went to the halfway house with Fred. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And you don't normally go to a halfway house on theft charges. Okay. So what I was going to do with the whole trafficking thing is I have someone that was going to be a guest on panel with me. iDiscovering, Irene Dancer. Is I have a list as well on Knoxville, everything I've heard from Knoxville. But my panel guest, as of right now, cannot come on. So I'm going to probably do that a different time. Although I can speak on a few things where my issues is with that is. So, okay, let's say we take Fred for his word that he met this guy in Knoxville at this halfway house, which is believable. Okay. So probably whoever else is in this halfway house with him also has some drug habits. And he had said that he was playing one of Ziggy's lives at the time, and the guy overheard it, and he was like, oh yeah, Summer, she's not missing. She's up in this hotel with 10 other kids, right? There's so many issues with what Fred has said about the situation. Okay, remember when back in July of 2022, Ziggy went live and she brought this subject of Lady of the Night. Let me go to one of those videos. She was talking about the Lady of the Night, where this girl had emailed her, right? It was a 6-hour live she did on this. And the girl wanted to talk about how, which is what Killer's Videos is about. She wanted to share her story of her friend. She wanted to share her friend's story. And then Ziggy wanted to turn it into TBI, so she told old girl, hey, are you lying to me? I really got to know that you're telling me the truth on this because I'm turning it into TBI. And then the girl was like, well, no. She got text on the phone saying, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And then a few days later, the girl texted her and said, hey, I lost my phone, but, how dare you think you can talk to me that way? So the girl, once TBI came up, she wanted to kind of back away from the situation. But she's the one that first talked about Playboy, this I didn't pay a lot of attention to the Playboy stuff. I will be honest about that. Because I just wasn't hearing it. I don't know. That's around the time that Fred was in the halfway house. Him and Ziggy were talking. They were talking when he was in jail. And apparently throughout this time, they were getting to know each other because they ended up getting married. And I don't want to make this a drama stream, but I will put out my opinion that I think there is something to that. 6 Up had put out some screenshots a couple weeks ago before all that court stuff started. And I think she's getting her information from Kathy because one of the messages had a K on it. And Fred was calling this, whoever he was talking to, Mom. And I know that Fred called Kathy Mom, which Miss Kathy Gordon, I seen her, she was in that Vile Nasty Girls live that she did about me, and Kathy said that I had lied about her. I've not really spoke about you, Miss Gordon. So, I mean, if you feel that I have lied about you, put that out again. What do you think I lied about? And we'll fix that. Because I don't want to go around lying on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the lady of the night. Here is one of the reasons why I am not going for it. Pay no attention to the haters. Well, it's kind of hard not to, because this is it. You guys are the chat. I'm the chat as well. I go to people's chat still. I don't, other than remain comms, I really don't comment in anybody's, but I'm still in there. But the chat is what makes this community, not just the creators and the content, but the chatters as well. They take what they hear, and it's like a rumor, hearsay. It gets spread, and that's how a lot of people think what they think. So give me 1 second, please. Playlist. All the things. Knoxville. Sorry. Playlist. What's in here? Fun things. Stop. I'm having issues. I'm in my playlist, but it's only playing. I only have the option to play the first video. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the rest of my videos. Oh wait, right here. Is that it? Okay. And I want that question answered. Where'd we come up with that 623, 626? That's why I played that video. So that was a 12-minute video, right? And on my post that I made today, on my community post, some people thought that Chris McDonough told us those times, which, where would he get it from? I want to know the original. Where did we get 623 and 626? That either Don or Don and Candace called 911. How do we know that? If it's from this dispatch stuff, which then Scott mentioned that Gray Hughes kind of did some figuring out on the time, which I remember hearing that, but I don't know how you would do that either, because in the beginning of it, you hear them say 1911, which is military time for 7-Eleven. So to get to 623, that's, around, give or take, an hour. There's not an hour of dispatch calls before that call out of 1911. So where in the world did 623 and 626 come in at? And I asked for a reason, several reasons, but one main reason. Okay, let me look for this video. As always, this is just going to be everywhere, but I'll try to make a few points. I'll tell you what, it is 80 some degrees in Ohio today, and it feels like 100. Our gas station is giving out complimentary water. It's so hot. I believe we have a heat advisory. I know we did yesterday and the day before. So hopefully you guys are staying cool if you can. It's dangerously hot. What did I do with that? Okay, well, since I'm in this playlist, we'll go back to the Lady of the Night. Let me play this and give you something to think about. Let's see if this works. Okay. This is going to be Chris McDonough clips, and then there's a clip that Gavel Geeks had made that I can remember. Now listen to this. You know how Fred had always said he went up there to the house and he's seen the boys in their diapers, and then he said in the next breath they were naked, you know. So we had two different stories on that. And then also as well, he said he was up there to get a truck from Dawn, and then the other time he said he was up there to get gas. That's how Fred's stories change. The details change. And again, this is where a lot of our information that we talk about today started with Fred Hill's timeline. And whatever Candace had said or whatever Dawn had said, you know, like Chris McDonough, he didn't interview Candace till July, and she told him her timeline, her story. But before she talked to Chris, she told Ansley Daniels that she was in the house and Summer was outside on the swing. So, you know, so why would we believe a word she says if she had already, you know, said this in the beginning? And then Marlena saying that she called her at 4:30, and I caught an interview where Ryan was talking to the Wallens, and they said that the dispatch call went out at 5:30. This guy had been part of the department. I don't know if he's EMS, fire, not sure. But he had just got off work. And they say that they went to Ben Hill after 5:30, quarter till 6, and they seen Fred. They seen Fred backing up. He was already there, backing up. And I don't know what to think about that, because no one else has said it that way. Jody doesn't say that. Jody has a helicopter video. I looked it up. It was, the sunset was 8:52 that night, June 15th, 2021. Sunset was 8:52. You could still see a helicopter up in the air when Jody was looking up. I believe it was way after 8 that he got home. You know, so someone's lying. Several people are lying. And, you know, so that's why I want to know where this 623 and 626 came from. All right, so let's listen to this. Check this out. Well, hold on. I got to share it with you first. You might be able to hear it, but I want you to watch it too.
Window, which is a one-way glass, by the way. You can't see into that room. And do you think you're going to see anybody in that room? Look how dark, in the middle of the day. You think a stranger can walk by that window, which is a one-way glass, by the way? You can't see into that room. And do you think you're going to see anybody in that room? Look how dark it is. No. But you know there's a 5-year-old little girl in there. And you also know this is a great place to break into, a burglar.
One way. He's saying it's one way. You can see out, but you can't see in. I asked somebody who has been at the Wells, can you see in that basement door? And they said no, not unless you press your face up against it. Then you can see in.
Right, to steal something, and you incidentally run into a 5-year-old in the room with 3 other kids upstairs, allegedly. You see how that theory doesn't...
That is not true, Home the University. That is disgusting, and they weren't naked. They were in diapers. You're gross thinking like that. To me, that shows me you're a pervert, talking about kids being naked and peeping in windows. Like, that's not what happened. You're changing the story into around creepy.
I'm not even.
Yeah, see how they do that? Change things around into something like perverted.
They have no diapers on or anything. They were completely naked.
Butt naked. I mean, no clothes on that. Didn't even look like there was any sheets or anything on the bed. No cover or nothing. Just fire mattress laying on the floor. I ain't seen a toy, no nothing in there.
Well,
That is
Say that
not
I've seen things is because Candace takes me to things, and like when I said I seen the back.
This is Jenna. She came into the story early. I don't know much about her. I know that she started a channel. I do remember she apologized for some things that she had done. She became friends with Candace over the phone, and I think she was kind of doing it to get information from Candace, of course, like everybody has. And that's just turned into a disaster because there's several answers that Candace gives, different stories for lots of things. So what's the use, you know?
Door. Candace literally on the phone took me to the back door and showed me how easy it was to open that back door.
so.
So when I'm saying like I was there, I wasn't there personally, but I was there over the phone seeing everything.
Yeah, she tripped herself up a bit though, didn't she? Or I don't know, maybe you might not think so. When she did the interview with Chris, she was saying no one can get in, no one can get out. You know, everything was locked. But
yeah, but
you know?
yeah, I know. I watched that and I heard her say that. But then when we became friends, she took me down there and she showed me the door and she's like, "It's so easy to open, and you can't see from the, if you go on the outside, you can't see on the inside. But if you go from the inside, you can see on the outside."
Yeah,
So-
like
Yeah, so
Yeah. That whole box.
That glass was not always one-way glass. So what are you saying? Are you saying that you think they switched it out? Put some of that, I don't know what it's called. Stuff on it? What are you saying?
Ronnie said, kids just don't go with them. You
First
know?
of all, why did he say
Oh, okay. Well, that was over, and it's my playlist is going to continue to play. So I'll go ahead and I'll play this one too, because this little clip is from when Ziggy was interviewing Laura and Fred. Now you got to remember, Fred and Laura supposedly were together the 15th. So they are each other's alibi, right? Except for, you know, when she was on Ziggy's panel and K-Crime was asking her questions, she said that she was not with Fred that morning when he said that he seen Dawn that morning, and then he went out for smokes and didn't come back till 11:30. He just said that recently. It may have been on the Chris one. But she said she wasn't with him then, and she did not see the girl in the car. So, you know, and she still, to this date, I've never heard her say otherwise that they did scrap cars that day. They did scrap cars. And Fred did say in the beginning, he was hauling cars in and out all day. That's how he seen Dawn. That is not his story today. His story is he was just moving them from 165 to 207, messing around with them, you know. So his word play is different. And of course, my interview with Miss Shipley, it's alive if you missed it. And then there is also, it's on my channel and Ziggy's channel, Miss Shipley and Fred's whole conversation. She got a hold of him, I believe, in November, and that stemmed from me. I was talking to Miss Glenda and Steve, and they said that, you know, Miss Shipley may talk to you because it happened at her driveway. And I had Facebook messaged her and told her that I was available to talk to. And I specifically wanted to know about Fred's bike story. And it took a little while, and she finally got a hold of me, and she told me her version of events, which was, yeah, all that happened. There was a broke down bike at the end of my driveway, and but it wasn't the 15th. It had happened Sunday the 13th. And in that conversation, you see that she had said that several times to Fred, hey, tell me why you're saying it's the 15th that you hauled that bike. And at one point in time, he said, well, you could be right. It could have been the 13th. It could have been. Well, it was. So that leaves Fred's alibi kind of dead in the water, till what? I don't know. Who knows what Fred did the 15th at this point in time. I want to believe that he did haul Brandon's bike because, and only because, Jody says that he did have a bike on the back of his trailer when he came in. But she sure didn't say that he was in there by 5:30. Jody has said that she heard his truck break down or stop or whatever on the 15th. And then he left out, and then he came back. She hasn't said what time she heard it. I don't know what the big deal is on it, why it's his big secret, Jody, what time did Fred leave the holler? All right, so this clip right here is of Ziggy talking to Fred and Laura in the beginning. And this tells us that, it's no secret that Fred will tell you he listens to YouTube all the time, but he was listening to Ziggy in the beginning. And I believe that's where he got a lot of his information and things that he says.
I caught something in one of their videos. I don't know who it was not with. Why did he say he just got his little back?
He stated in one video.
That was on my live. That's my YouTube channel.
Said it.
Why did he say
Said
that?
I just got her back, and then
Somebody took her again.
Some people think that, okay, so there was a rumor going around about me, and some people think that he was talking about my daughter. Like when he said, what would you do if you just got your daughter back? Or what would you do? Because there was a rumor, being a YouTube creator, there's all types of rumors and stuff.
They said something about, talking about somebody's daughter or something. He said, hey, talking about you want to kill them too or something.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
But he said, I just got some, one channel, he's talking about he just got some of her back, and then she got took again or something.
Yeah, that was mine, and people went crazy about that. Because, but, yeah. I think I don't know if he was like. So
she was held for money or something.
Ransom.
Yeah.
Something about ransom.
He
The way
said
he said it, like you just got your daughter back and
held for
now she's
ransom.
held for ransom again or something like that, you know.
And these rednecks and fucking niggers around here.
He's supposedly looks like a midget or something, kind of.
Oh, really? So I guess the Andy name is interesting because it came up in a interview. It was, Chris McDonough YouTube channel? He came out there and he was the only one to really get inside that house before it was even fixed up. And he had bleeped out the part where Hunter mentioned that their drug dealer was named Andy. Everybody's thinking it's Andy, Jody Sue's Andy.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that
I
Andy...
know Don gave Andy some money down there the day that she went missing and stuff when I was standing there talking to Andy and him, the law stuff was still there. And he did reach Andy some money and stuff then.
Jody Sue's Andy?
Yeah.
He gave Andy money that day.
Yeah.
Do you know how much?
He said, here's that money I owe you. Like that.
Oh, do you know how much it is?
I didn't know. I just sent money.
That is very interesting. Oh, yeah, and that's how somebody would cover it up too. They would be like, "Oh, here's that money I owe you." You know what I mean? To not. Do you see? That makes me think that he paid him or something.
I just figured it was for drugs or something. Well, I figured, that he owed him for something other.
Yeah. Does Andy do meth still? I know he gives up.
Now you keep that in mind. You just heard Fred say, I figured it was just for drugs or something. But his story today has dramatically changed. Him and Ziggy have played off each other from day one, in my opinion. You know, if she says something, then he'll parrot what she says. And it's frustrating because sometimes when he's talking, she wants to tell his story. And I know that aggravates a lot of other people because I see people write it in comments. And, you know, it's just a given. You don't talk over anybody. It's their story. It's rude anyway.
I've not never seen him.
Yeah.
I was like Dawn and them. I didn't know that they'd done that much until, well, like a week before she went missing, they showed up here, coked up and stuff, wanting to sit.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very, very interesting.
Yeah. So today his story is, Fred's story is he thinks that, well, for one, he thinks that this happened on the night of the 15th. And Jody and Andy both have said, dude, you weren't down there the 15th. It was the 16th or the 17th. And Fred says, no, this was the 15th. Well, I've got videos, clips upon clips of Fred saying things like, you know, I got home and then Dawn came down to the house. He has said Dawn came down to the house with the oldest boy. He has said he came down without the oldest boy. He has said that law enforcement came to his house and drove him down to the church to give his statement and give him this digital recorder. He has said it the other way where, you know, they came down his house. He went there. So, yeah, I'm almost positive that he used for such a long time and that is expected to have memory loss and your days confused. But at some point in time, you would think that the brain heals. And I don't know if that includes your memory coming back or details getting straightened up. But I've probably said this many times over. I think that Fred should be willing to admit that the way that he thought things happened in the times that he said could very well be wrong. And I still would like for him to consider that, you know, because if we're going to go on and on and on about this on Facebook and we're going to keep going at Fred and telling him, you know, your days are wrong, and him saying, no, they weren't. I know they're right. I know they're wrong. No, I've not heard anybody back Fred up except for Laura. And at that, they don't even agree on things. I get frustrated talking about Fred. And this wire thing, it's my opinion that, you know what, because this Nate Simpson character that he talks about, Nate Simpson and Gary Lawson are of the NARC unit from Hawkins County. He said, if I say wire, I mean digital recorder. So, you know, just take it as that. He says they gave him a digital recorder, but he says that they did it because they told him that they knew Don had possibly sold his oldest kid way back in the day. Well, I believe Mary and them turned that in on the 16th. But Nate Simpson, by someone else's account that I talked to, said that Nate was parked down at Fred's house way before Summer went missing. Right. And I don't know why he would be there. I don't think that Fred is an informant. I think that probably would have came out already. You know, like when Fred got arrested back in June of 23, it came out in his motion of discovery who his informants were, you know, so that's what I'm saying. I think if Fred was an informant, that someone would have found that by now. But it is interesting that he was down there. And there were some things said about Nate as well, both ways. I heard when Fred was in jail, he was talking to Ziggy, and he said, yeah, I talked to that guy I wired up for, Nate. He said that we went to school together, but I don't know what he was talking about. That's what Fred said. But then other times, you'll hear Fred say that he did know Nate. So which is it? Did you or did you not know him? And I have, I don't know who said it. Somebody said about psychics. Yeah, Fred said in the beginning that the psychics had him on 110 looking for something. I think that's how he got into all this. Somebody contacted him. Well, his sister, she goes by Ellie on here. She was doing the same shit. Ellie was working for another realm. But nobody knew that all those videos were her. And that's what I was showing in my last live where I couldn't play the audio. It was videos on Another Realms channel, and one of them is the same damn video that she had Six Up play. And I thought, okay, because she had shared it with me at one point in time and told me not to share it, and I did not share it. But once it was played on Six Up's channel, I was like, okay, well, I guess you're good with it being out now, that was you that was going through, you know, ashes, supposedly finding hair, which that was not human hair. And that's where my problem kind of stems with Fred's sister. You know, it's not drama. It's what the hell are you doing as well? Both of you. From the beginning of this case, the Hills were involved, claiming hair, bones, clothes, kids' clothes. And then, you know, this lead comes out, Paul Hills. Just the Hills have been mentioned way too many times for my taste, to be honest. To be honest. I thought I seen somebody say they were watching TM last night. Was Tiffany on last night? Tiffany has some clips, or not clips, but a live that me and Mishi was going to go over. I thought that was interesting because Fred had said some new things, which I made clips from that one. You know, because when Fred has told like 7 or 8 timelines by now, and they do vary. They change. Like when he was talking to Chris, or maybe it was when him and Ziggy was going over their first interview. It was one or the other. She had asked him if they went to the store that day, and he said no. But, 3 or 4 other times in his timeline, he said him and Laura went to the dollar store. So which is it? One time you say you didn't have time, and then one time you say you went. I think, Fred, maybe you need to listen to yourself. Yeah, Fred said he burned a backpack. He sure did. Yeah. And that's another thing, backpack. Jody mentioned that I should make a video on all the things that Fred said about the backpack. I haven't heard all of them. Haven't. So I'm going to try to figure out how to see the rest of my playlist here. All right, here's another good one. Here's something that I hear all the time. And here's where it stemmed from. Here's where it came from. Lawson did not say this. This is, I don't know what year it is. I want to say 2022 by the looks of the video. So I believe her and Benny's on her panel. And then this guest pops up by the name of Michelle. You might remember this one. Now, it's a 7-minute clip. I won't play the whole thing, but you'll hear Ziggy says she had been talking to this lady since November. So, they were already talking, and then all of a sudden she has her on panel. And this is where you get where people say, ask where those 4 hours came from.
I was going to go. There's somebody that was sub that texted me and asked if she could ask you a question. So I sent her a link so she might come up here. But she said I asked her if it was going to be nice, and she said, of course. So I'm like, okay. So I sent her a link, but it will just be quick because I can't. It's been a long day.
Me too. It has been a long day. I don't know who she's rendering justice to now. Is she trying to get in for summer, or is she streaming the stuff from her YouTube to her Facebook as well?
I'm not sure. So? I don't know. I haven't actually watched. I don't watch. So, might as well.
You're just extra unhappy at that time.
Right. And thank you, Aisha. And Michelle, I'm sorry for this. She really wanted to ask you a question, Benny. So.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, this is Michelle.
Michelle.
Benny. Hi, Ziggy.
Hey, how are you? Is this the first time you've been up here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wow, Benny, you should feel honored because you know what?
No, I watch both of you all the time, but Benny don't know I watch him because I never say anything.
Yeah, but you don't even know chat.
You know what?
Here.
So what?
Oh no, he's cutting out now. Watch, now he'll probably drop right when you get a chance.
I can't hear him.
I know, he's
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Michelle, sorry.
I just say I don't get up in Benny's chat. I just watch because I'm afraid if I get in his chat, I'm going to get attacked.
Or you get jumped into a gang. One of the two.
I do watch you, though, every day. You and Ziggy.
Thank you for your support, lovely.
I just appreciate everything that you all are doing for summer. I really do. And if I tell you where I'm from, I'm afraid somebody will know who I am.
Don't do it then.
Ziggy knows where I'm from.
Well, how would they know where you're from or who you are? What do you mean?
Because I'm well known around here.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't think.
I told you where I worked at.
You might have. I talked. There for a while. I was talking to so many people. I talk to a lot of people today still, but
Oh crap! I'll just tell you. I'm from Hawkins County.
Yeah, I can already hear it in you. You got that Hawkins County dialect.
I got that Southern drawl, son.
Yeah, baby.
I remembered that. I knew you were in Tennessee. But I'm sure you told me.
Well, I mean, in this case, anytime somebody says, if I say where I'm from, they're gonna know me. They're from Hawkins County.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a real big town down here. I mean, plus I'm gonna tell you where I worked at too, so everybody will know.
Okay. Wait, didn't you
Police department.
Yes, that's right. You worked at the sheriff's department.
Sheriff's department for 27 years.
Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice. I already know.
I remember now. Because, yeah, when he said police department, I'm like, yep, he was right. She did work for the...
Yeah, 27 years I worked at the sheriff's department.
What did you do there? Did you tell me, or you don't have to say? It's not important.
What didn't I do there?
Did you have a question for Benny that you were wanting
to
answer?
No, I just really wanted to come up and say hi to you and say hi to Benny because I've never said hi to Benny before. And...
Okay, well,
I want to thank you for your public service.
Pretty sweet pea, yeah. That's what I've heard, that it was meth making materials in this bag. And I think that I heard Ellie say it was like 5 days later that it was found in the driveway, which is odd. And then I think that's when Fred says, you know, they were trying to set me up. I can believe that. I can believe somebody was trying to set him up. Who knows? You know, at this point, apparently he's having issues with Ellie. He's having issues with Dawn and Candace. And excuse me, at one point in time, now Lisa Kay was saying that her source told her that, and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, if I say this wrong, I apologize, but from my memory, you said that your source told you that Candace took drugs down to Fred's, and then Dawn was going back to get him back from Fred, but Fred wouldn't give him back. So, you know, there's lots of stories about this backpack. But it was after Summer went missing, so it doesn't have anything to do with Summer, so I'm not much concerned about it.
Madam, 27 years in criminal justice, that's something to be proud of, man. You did your duty. I find that as admirable as going overseas to fight for foreign politics. It's a beautiful thing.
It's rough, boys. I'm glad I'm out of it, though.
Well, you're better for it. Let me ask you a question since you're here.
All right.
I don't want to know what you still got connections with the Hawkins County. I'm sure you do.
I also believe, Scott, that Squaw talked about it, but wasn't that from like a totally different area? That the backpack, it wasn't from Fred's when Squaw and Jody was talking about it. It was found somewhere else. I believe that was spoke about on a Scotty Skulls video. I don't know if it's a video or live, but he mentioned it. I never got to listen to Squaw. I kind of came in after her whole thing on here, so I might have listened to one thing from her and then she disappeared. So I don't know much about Squaw.
Shoot, yeah, how do I know about all of them?
So you know the undercurrent of what's going on. You don't have to speak on it, but do you know more than the internet knows?
No. They were hush hush. They wouldn't even tell me. So.
Okay. Good to know. That's good
The
to
only
know.
thing the sheriff told me to ask YouTube was to find out where or what took her 4 hours to call the sheriff's department.
4 hours?
Yeah.
What?
So this chick is saying that she's from Hawkins County. She worked with Hawkins County, and the sheriff asked her to ask YouTube. Apparently, I don't know if she said it yet. She says, Ronnie said, well, since you're on YouTube, you ask YouTube, what happened to those 4 hours?
He said, if you want to tell YouTube anything, ask him why it took 4 hours for her to call the sheriff's department.
Oh my God.
What took Candace 4 hours to call the sheriff's department? Okay, so it's hearsay. So I've heard PG say it, that we've heard Lawson say. Well, Lawson did not say it. It's this woman right here said it. She pops up real quick. She shows her face. I don't know who she is. But that's where this originates from. Which, okay, 4 hours. We all know the 623, 626, which is my main question of the day. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? It was not on that Red Rum Media. I don't know how you figure you doing time if you're listening to that dispatch call, how you can go back almost an hour. I just don't see how you can figure it to be that way. You would have to show me. I'd have to see that. I've Googled it. I didn't come up with anything. Cool.
So I'm putting it out there on Ziggy's panel.
In the timeline, so, okay, let's say, we'll just stick with 623, 626 for now. If you go back 4 hours, that's 2:30. At 2:30, Candace was dropping off on her. The best way I can tell you, I made time cards on all that stuff. When I seen all the metadata on all the pictures and videos and stuff, and you see the 309 on top of the milk jug video, if you take where they're at 309, and you put in Hunter's address, he lived on Lewis Street. I believe it was a 25 or 35-minute drive going by maps. So that's where she was at. So why would he say that? Why would he ask people to go back 4 hours? Because we see a picture of Summer at 309, unless there's something that they know that we don't.
There you go. That changes the time. What do we have? We were stretching each of them to an active 2-hour block of time where they could not be accounted for. Who said that, Miss Michelle?
The sheriff told me to say that.
Lawson?
There you go.
Yes, because I talked to him about it.
Wow.
He won't tell me anything, but he just looked at me and said, well, I know you're watching all this YouTube stuff, so ask him where that 4 hours went before she called the sheriff's office.
So we got 6 hours. If you were to put Candace's 4 hours and now her 4 hours ended and his 2 hours being gone picked up, you got 6 hours of activity that could be done.
Dude, you know what 4 hours before is? That's when she dropped off Hunter.
It's around noon.
No.
Noon or 1.
She called it like 6:15.
I don't really know what he meant by that.
Okay, so this and I got this next one I'll show after I show this is a good indicator for me on dates and times. Okay, this was a live that TT did, but I saved it because there's some good footage of 110 that it's always interesting to see the area. And at one point in time, which I've made a video on this one as well, Grandma made a video for whatever reason showing her point of view sitting on the camper steps. And she was trying to say, see, you can't see the basement door. You can't see it. Well, no, you cannot see the basement door itself. But when Cracking Cases was there, he had this big bag of big bag of dog food that he was taking from the basement door down to the dog trail. And Allie was filming at the time, so she caught him walking from the basement door to the trail. And sure enough, you could see him. So that for me says, if their story was true, that they were sitting outside on the camper steps, and whether little Summer ran from the door into the woods or some creeper came up into the basement, they'd be able to see them. That's my opinion. I can't see it any other way. But like I said in the beginning, Candace told Ansley that she was inside, which that's on here too. I'll show it. She said she was inside and Summer was outside on her swing.
Okay, here's the video. So, with an open mind, just watch.
Ooh, I have a question while I'm at this. Okay, look, I can zoom in and out on my computer, and I know the screen moves for me, but I'm wondering if it moves for you. Which, oh, of course it wouldn't do it. Why isn't it doing it? Oh, it doesn't from the home screen. Hold on. Okay, I'm just playing it. Hold on. Is that getting bigger for you guys? Or just me? Can't see it. Yeah, that's so small. You guys can't see it. I put it on my TV. You can't. When I zoom in, it doesn't zoom in for you. So that's a bad example. You can barely see it. She could see it from the kitchen window. Yeah, the kitchen window was on the side of the house, on the side where a swing was. But we don't know. We don't know the placement of everybody, you know? We just don't know. All we know is the script. And that we don't know where Summer is still. What happened to her? Give me your theories, if you would. Share your theories with me. What do you think happened to Summer? With everything you've heard, you've seen, you've researched, what is your honest opinion today? What do you think happened to Summer?
All right. Grandma's camper.
Okay. Here's a better example right here. She explains it. This is Cracking Cases, Allie. Now watch this. She is at Grandma's camper.
Right down there. You can see Kenan going down through there.
Do you see that?
You can see Kenan going down through there.
Oh.
Ben. You can
see him walking?
You can see Kenan going down through there.
So that works both ways. If somebody, I mean, I guess they could have snuck, up from a different area of the woods, but that's a direct line from the wood line to the basement door, and you can indeed see it. Discovering. You still haven't changed your mind. Cursed, you know my theory, and I wish I could say I've had information to change my mind, but unfortunately it's still the same. That's just crazy to me. That's crazy to me because, I mean, if you watch what I watched, there's been so much put out, and I don't understand how you can have that same theory. That's nuts.
Been very easy for them to have gotten her.
Here. So with that, if you're not aware, see this right here. This is the basement door side of the house. So this goes, how they call it, like the circle goes around their house. This goes around, and then it like takes off to the left, and then that's the driveway going down to Ben Hill that you see.
A little bit more of the dog trail from actually on the dog trail. When we first got to the property.
Let me show everybody where it's. All right, here's the driveway. Here's the house right here. Here's the driveway. I'll turn this way. This is a path that comes up from the back side of that driveway. This is not the dog trail, but this is a path that will go. It's a huge spider web right there. This is a path that used to be able to take vehicles up too, Don stated. And this goes all the way down to the shed, down at the bottom of the hill that everybody has seen. The shed everybody has seen. I don't think that nobody's seen this path, but this goes all the way down and wraps around to down there. You can come out. There's two creeks down there. I'm going to show you from the other side. Damn it, big old spider. I'll show you the other side of it. Be careful, there's a huge spider web. Did you? All right, I'm going a little farther. Here's some of the boys' toys, so you can tell they traveled this area. Some more of the boys' toys, so you can see that this area has been frequented. A lot of trash right here from the brush on the backside. To be able to travel this. Oh, okay. I didn't even know about this part of it. Even carrying a child.
Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure, you know, when Candace says that she sent the boys over to the other side of the hill to look for Summer, I think they came down here. They came down this pathway, which there's a creek at the end. You'll see it here in a minute. So I guess if you the creeks, I think that would be a good indicator if somebody crossed over the creek with Summer, or if Summer walked off by herself. They would be able to tell in the creek if somebody had went through it, you know. I don't believe at this point in time that Summer walked off. I don't believe the footprints. Nothing has told me that it's anything but hearsay. You know, if anybody was out there in those woods and they passed away, and you have hundreds of searchers looking for you, you're gonna see buzzards, you know. Without a doubt, you're gonna see buzzards, and people said there was no buzzards. And there's other reasons, but my main thing is there's just nothing to support it. I know a lot of people go on that neighbor, Josh Phillips. They go on his words. And I found something quite interesting on him, actually, too, which says a lot. Let's get to the end here.
This ground is soft. Yeah, well, somebody will say. Let's check this out right here. Look here, from the house down, there's the shooting house, there's the shed. Tell me that, sorry for the shaky camera, I'm zooming. Tell me that let me zoom back out.
This is the way that the boys traveled down whenever
This
they
is what, yeah.
When they were looking for something.
I can't zoom back in. The light went up. Okay, see this? You follow this trail. This is where we're at. This comes from the back side of the house down. And that goes right up to the shed. Anybody can walk up there but get to a vehicle. Why this wasn't covered before, I'm astounded to why this hasn't been covered before. This really, really bothers me. That nobody took the time to look at this trail. It goes right back down past the shed that Dawn was supposedly hiding in. This is one of a bunny rabbit stuffed animal that is buried right there in the dirt.
Once again, this ground was very soft, so it wouldn't take long for it to work its way down in there.
All right, guys, we'll have more for you. But this is down here at the shooting house. Thank y'all. Oh, before I stop, here's the other house. Down here. A straight shoot up to another house on Ben Hill Road. This is the creek.
Stairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard. Wells tells me Summer was last seen going to the basement to play with her toys. Her 3 older brothers upstairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard facing away from the basement door, and Don Wells at work.
We don't know if someone was waiting in the basement or if she come outside here and went to the swing. All we know is.
How you doing, Sandy? You think Dawn sold her? Do you have a reason behind that? I mean, you know, from something that you've heard or watched, what makes you feel that way? I'm open for anything.
He went down the basement.
Wells says he believes someone was lurking at the top of the dog trail, just feet away from the basement door. He says the predator somehow managed to snatch Summer, then raced down the steep hill as she struggled.
I guess you guys want to walk down through here?
The trail was not an easy walk. To get down the rugged hill, Wells and I had to hold on to trees. I struggled not to trip or even fall on tree roots.
I didn't see what you said before you retracted it, KB, but if it was nasty, thank you for retracting it. Yeah, discovering, I heard somewhat the same thing, but that doesn't make me believe that they're guilty. Just, I mean, I can put myself in the same scenario. Like, okay, let's flip a coin. One of us has got to go look and see which one of us is going to do it. Andy has, from what we know, Andy has an alibi from being at work. Ryan talked to his boss. Plenty of people called his boss, and his Hayworth said, yeah, he was here all day. And if he did leave and come back, it would have had to been like after 6 or however he put it. It's just, Andy's got an alibi. Andy don't have a motive for anything. I don't even think Fred has a motive to do something with Summer other than, if it was something because he was so high, and he just was out of his gourd. I don't think Fred did anything either. Now, sometimes do I consider Fred being maybe helpful to Dawn? Yeah, I put that in my scenarios, but I think if he was involved, him and Dawn wouldn't have. I can't even say it that way.
You can slide a little bit.
So the dogs kind of came down this trail here.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
It was about buzzards. We can be open. It's, I know some things are hard to talk about and hard to say and hard to listen to, but if we want to talk about things, we just have to say them. Just because it's not easy, we still need to. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here till the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Will says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer's scent down the trail to the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
I think whoever grabbed.
That's a whole other thing too. You said, Sandy, you said that he tried to sell his older son. I haven't got a problem with that because Lisa Kay did some research. She was into talking to detectives in Rose Bly's case, and she was talking to Rose's husband, Chris, and what was I getting to on that? Why did I think of Lisa? Because Lisa didn't talk to Mary, I don't think. But anyway, what I was talking about was the age of Dawn's sister when that supposedly happened. And I thought something was retracted, a statement was retracted about that because, it was said Donnie was on the corner trying to sell his son. And then who was contacted? Somebody came and told his mom he was trying to do that. I mean, does that sound like a real story? And then the one who either witnessed it, the sister that witnessed it, was very, very young. I'm talking baby young. So she couldn't have witnessed it. You know what I mean? That's why I try to get all the information I can to make a better judgment on where my theories go. I know I'm half tired half the time I get on here and I try to talk to you guys and I sound like I have no clue what I'm talking about. I really do. It never goes the way it's planned. Never does.
Her probably had her mouth covered, and I I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared, but they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, where they maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor...
Okay. It's right there. He says lost scent from gravel to pavement. And that's the only thing he says. So what about all these footprints that they supposedly found? I know, again, bringing up Lisa, and she showed me the emails that she sent. Lisa sent an email to EquiSearch asking, hey, did you guys find Summer's scents or footprints? And they said no. You might want to contact Hawkins County. And Dave Radar didn't say anything about finding anything. He said it was hearsay. It was rumor that she might have been, that a neighbor talked about footprints and she might have been dropped off. That makes absolutely no sense. She might have been dropped off. Then what? She was kidnapped again? She was lost again for the second time? You know? So her scent, it brings me to the 14th because this Jackie Dobbs guy who bought some property by Jody and Andy's, he came in there, he came on Ben Hill on the 14th. 14th. Yes, I said that twice. And apparently Summer, and I think maybe her brothers and Don and Candace and Andy and Jody were at the end of the driveway the previous night before she went missing. So she was down the driveway. So is that why they picked up her scent down the driveway? Because she was down there the night before? I mean, the little girl lived on this property. She was on her swing all the time. You know, she had just got home from the Suburban. So why didn't they track her scent to the Suburban or to the camper? You know, why from whatever door the dog came out, why would they go straight down Dog Trail and then just magically lose her scent? Well, the dogs can't talk, but the dogs can. Whatever their handlers teach them to do, whether it's bark or sit, you know, when they find the scent. Maybe they were released, and I always have a hard time explaining how I want to say this. Maybe it wasn't a scent that they were on. Maybe they were in search of a scent and just never picked up on it, is what I'm trying to say. It just doesn't make sense that they would only pick up one on one with her living there for 5 years. It makes absolutely no sense. So the 14th, I think I'm going to play this last clip for a reason. And then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. And I'm going to do more research on trafficking. And I will get my clips together better so I can tell you a story and show you in what order all that went down. And to show you my point on why I don't think, not that I don't think she wasn't trafficked, because I know that's a possibility, but I do not believe the story that's been told by this whole Lady of the Night and Fred's Playboy story. I don't believe it. So this one is a clip of when Andy and Fred was on Ziggy's panel and they were talking, and Ziggy had apparently no idea who Dobbs was, and Andy had come home early the 14th because of the Dobbs situation. This guy who had bought property, and they weren't happy because he was crossing the line, and they had called the law, and I guess law told him to kick mud. He sided with the neighbors of 125 that they know the property lines, they know what they're talking about, you don't. He had a blue Blazer, and that comes up several times in different ways. Like Ellie said, Fred's sister Ellie said that on the 15th, she seen that blue Blazer at Andy's driveway around 3, between 2:45 and 3, I think it was. I've not heard anybody else say that they seen it. I have not heard anybody say that Dobbs came back. And she even went on to say that this guy that she seen resembled Fred, but it wasn't Fred. She tried to get him to turn around maybe or something like that, but he wouldn't. So apparently she didn't see his face. So on the 15th, you've got a vehicle in Jody's driveway between 2:45 and 3. Well, who the hell was that? There's these Jody's red flash. Who was that? If that was a vehicle she seen, who was going up their driveway? Who, that clip that I pointed out, Fred had never said nothing before. I don't care what Ziggy said. He had never mentioned it before, that when he was coming back into the holler, that he was expecting a guy to bring him drugs that day, and he never showed up until Fred was coming in that night, and then old dude shows up at the end of the road. And the guy's name does exist. He didn't say it out loud on YouTube, but when I was talking to Ziggy and him there for a minute, he mentioned his name, and I asked somebody from Beach Creek, and they said, yeah, that person exists. I did not turn it into TBI. I'm not sure if that's something that should be turned into TBI. Anyway, this little clip kind of puts it together for me when Fred talks about his, seeing Andy on the road on the 15th, and he's just so sure of it. But he uses this timestamp of 3:47, which Andy always says, dude, the time was wrong on the camera. It was a different date, different time. And I don't think Ziggy grasps that. She always takes Fred's word for it. But if she listened to every single thing that he would say, she would know that he has been very inconsistent, yet she pushes all his stories out to be truth. And it just becomes a big fat mess, Here we are still. Summer's not found, and we're talking about all these times and dates that just doesn't match up.
Do you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, he was on the road to 15th.
yeah, what time do you think he was on the road?
The camera was timestamped at 3:47.
Okay, Andy, what do you say about that?
It could not have been on the 15th. I was at work.
You were at work.
I mean, I was there pretty much on off all day on the 14th, and I took off a day or two after the 15th. But I went there on the 15th. I was at work at Hayward.
Okay. Fred, do you have anything to say to that?
I mean, the law enforcement even showed him pictures of him being on the road on the 15th.
They never showed me no pictures of me being on the road on the 15th.
Okay.
I mean, I was down there on the 14th dealing with Jackie, and I went up to the uncle's house to call Mom to get Mom to come down there because that's not in my name. It's in Mom and you know who's Jane. So that on the 14th, yes, I was in the holler. I would have probably been on camera the 14th going in the holler on the one at the bottom of the hill at Simpson Road and the one on up through there.
There are 3 different ones you was on.
Well, not on the 15th. I swear, dude.
Well,
I mean, the law enforcement even said they had to refresh your mind because you said that you didn't even know that you was on the road that day. They said that you told them that you didn't even know what vehicle you was even driving that day, whether it's truck or the car, and then they showed you the picture and refreshed your memory.
I mean, it's like I said from the beginning. I drove the Soul, I'm pretty sure, on the 15th, and I came in after 6:30 or around 6:30ish or so. I don't know exactly what time.
I mean, you was caught on camera at Summers at 5:30.
There was no way I was on camera at Zoomers at 5:30, Fred. I was at work until at least 6 o'clock on that day because we had to stay over because we had a bunch of bullshit come in. Even on a normal day, the store at Hayward closes at 5:30. We try to have everything done 15 minutes before the doors close. That way we can get out of there. It takes us 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get the doors locked.
I'm not accusing you of doing anything or anything wrong. You have a right to be on that road that day. On any day. But it just raises questions why you was beyond your driveway and why was you go all the way to the dead end and why was that blue truck following you out? I mean, that don't mean you know, it don't mean you done anything to someone or nothing like that. I'm just saying it just raises questions, you know?
Who's in a blue truck?
Is that directed toward me?
Yeah, Andy, I'm sorry.
Okay. What kind of dark truck? I don't know nobody that drives a dark truck in and out of the holler right there. I know Fred's dad used to have a dark colored truck, but other than that, I didn't pay attention to who lived past me unless they was causing problems or aggravating me. I don't pay attention to what goes on. And most days I was gone 6 days a week.
But why were you all the way down at the end?
I went all the way down on the end of Ben Hill Road on the 15th. I went even all the way down on the end of Ben Hill on the 14th. I went to the house past Fred's mom and dad's house. You know where I went, Fred, right?
You was on camera past there on the 15th. The law enforcement has a
No, sir. Okay. This is all I've got to say on that. If they had me on camera, all I've got to say on that.
The law enforcement has a
No, sir. Okay. This is all I've got to say on that. If they had me on camera on the 15th in the holler, they have never came to me and said, sir, we had you on camera on the 15th. What was you doing here? They showed up at my work at Hayward, spoke to my boss, and watched the cameras, seen me on camera. So, to me, if I had been on that road on the 15th... What time did they see you on camera?
You want to know?
Do what?
He asked what time did they see you on camera?
They had the camera all day, from the time I got there at 8:30 to the time I left. They seen all day. I was on camera all day, accounted for all day.
So,
timestamp.
So, okay. So it's never going to come out, or nobody's going to ever have any type of proof of you being on the road between those hours on the 15th.
No, I was not there on the 15th.
Pull over. He had to pull in his truck to let Andy by. He had to, right? Fred, how'd it go?
Yes.
Okay. Answer me this, Fred. I know where the Ford Escort said at your mom's house. Even if I did go in the holler on that day and you was loading it up, why would you have had to move? That car was off the road enough where I could have got by easily.
No, it wasn't. It was sitting along the edge of the road. I had a trailer parked in the road loading it.
Okay. Last time I seen it, it was sitting probably 16 foot off the road with a big oak tree across it.
No.
You're talking about the blue Escort that your mom and daddy used to drive?
Yes.
They were sitting at the bottom of their driveway?
I sure am.
Well, I didn't see you on the 15th in that holler, bro. I don't care.
So you're saying you didn't pass me or nothing? You didn't go by my house, no nothing?
Not on the 15th. I seen you on the 14th when you come in on the 14th. Because you about took it. I'm pretty sure that was the day you about took a door off my car and I squalled at you. It was either that or Sunday. I can't remember. I've had too much shit going on in my life between my...
I didn't have to move out of the road, so I didn't have to move out of the road for you to go by me when I was loading the car on the 15th.
No. Dude, I don't even remember coming in the holler and you having to move your trailer or your truck. I do not remember meeting you with a trailer or a truck. I don't remember that. But I was not in Hill Road on the 15th. Do you not think if the law had anything else asked me that?
Corey, yeah. If anything, I think Jody's driveway was steeper than 110.
They'd have done come and asked me, or if I was on the road, even lying, that they would have come and said, well, sir, I've not talked to them since I left that property.
Were you at Zoomers on the 15th?
Not at no 5 or 5:30, probably around 6 or 6:15, 6:10, 6:20, somewhere in between 6 and 6:30. It takes me 28 minutes to get from Hayworth Tire to Beach Creek. About 28 minutes, depending on how you want to drive, and I usually drove it pretty good.
So you don't have friends who own motels like that you would bang hookers at, like Dirty Sue says? I'm sorry, it's
No.
such a...
No,
I don't think either one of you are going to change your mind. So, are you, Fred? I mean, are you thinking of differently?
I've seen the proof, you know.
He says, Fred's seen the proof, he says, from law enforcement. Fred says he worked with law enforcement and recorded you guys. Do you think he's lying? Because you said he's not a reliable source. Why do you think he's not a reliable source? Just because of the drugs or what?
He said that he had anything, not even said that he had anything to do with Summer. He just, why say that he wasn't on the road stuff that day when he's on camera and everything on the road that day, you know?
Yeah.
Man, look, I'm not on there.
You and Jody
Wait. Fred, what was that? Everybody needs to know that. Fred, what was that?
I said I did wire wiring on him and Jody Sue and Don. They all three was talking.
Good. Okay. Now look, if you were a wire on me, seriously, did I say anything to you that says anything about me being on that road or having anything to do with Summer being missing?
No, but Jody Sue's asking you questions. When the last time you seen Summer alive and stuff on the recording?
Well, okay. Yeah, just because I answered. Just because I answered.
The last time you seen Summer and you told her you seen her earlier that day and that was on the 15th.
No. I seen her on the 14th. 14th or the 13th, or the both days. I can't remember, man. I mean, okay. But no, I wasn't there. I didn't see her on the 15th. I seen her on the 14th. I seen her on the 13th.
Could somebody else have been driving?
That's what you told. You told that you seen, last time you seen her live was on the 14th on video, on the recording.
Okay. Well, Fred, bro, what's wrong with me saying that?
You stated that you didn't see her on the 15th when you went over on the hills earlier that day.
Okay, Fred, what is wrong with me saying I seen her on the 14th alive?
But you didn't see her on the 15th is what you said when you went over there, is what he said at the end. He said you saw her on the 14th alive, and then on the 15th, you didn't see her when you went over there.
Okay. If I went over there on the 15th at 6:30 in the evening, I would not have seen her because she was done missing. And that would be an honest statement, not a lie, not an exaggeration. I wasn't on Ben Hill Road after 8 or 8:30 on the 15th morning. I was supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. I always told them that I...
You just said you went over on the hill about 6:30, got down there about 6:30. You just said, well, ago, you said Zoomers between 6 and 6:30.
Okay, yeah. If I was at Zoomers between 6 and 6:30, at some point in time, when I got there searching for Summer, I would have crossed that hill. My phone don't work down there, so I don't know what time it is. I can't tell time if I don't have a phone to tell time with. So I pulled in somewhere on Ben Hill Road between 6:30ish. I don't know what time because I wasn't worried about what time it was. I was told that there was a missing little girl, and that was my priority at that point. Not what time it was, not who was here, not who was there. It was parking my car and looking for said.
Let me ask you another question.
Ask me another question.
Like, recorded. What was the money that Don handed you for?
When?
On the 15th. Standing at the bottom of your driveway when they supposedly searching for Summer. When I was recording you for the police.
Okay, I don't remember him giving me any money on the 15th. At some point in time, I remember that. I don't think that was the 15th, bro. I think that was a couple days before that. Or maybe a couple days after that.
Couldn't be a couple days before because nobody would hang out at the bottom of the driveway like that all together a couple days before.
Because it was him, Don, Jody Sue.
I mean, regardless, if he gave me anything, it was money for weed, Fred. That's the only dealings I had with Don and Candace was weed. I didn't hang out with them.
Did your son?
What the money transfer was for. That's only
probably weed. I mean,
no, I just wondered if it was for Summer or what.
Well, okay. I mean, would $20 or $15 cover a child's bread? I mean, because they usually never bought over a gram of weed, and the going rates of weed right now would be $15 a gram, $18 an. I had nothing to do with Summer, bro. There was people running that holler all hours of the night, and they weren't coming to my house. I mean, I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be civilized, mannerable, everything with every one of y'all. But you're trying to tell me for 3 years now, if I was on that road on the 15th lying to the police, you know damn good and well that they'd come snatch me up or something. I mean, they snatched you up. They got you for something you didn't do in 21, did you? Was in charges from 21, Fred?
Into 21. Yeah.
Okay. If I'd have been, if they wanted me, don't you think they'd come got me on some weed charges? They'd come got me on something.
They wouldn't worry about that.
Okay, if they're not worried about that, bro, why are you persecuting me for 3 years? Because you say I was on the road. I'm saying I wasn't on the road. Why can't we move forward? Where did you try to help find Summer instead of everything else? Andy was not on
it keeps coming back to you in Knoxville and stuff. Like, you keep coming up as a problem. Like, I don't think they're so into you because they're
5 seconds. Okay, look, please, 5 seconds, look.
Fred, do you know somebody named, okay, who placed the wire? FBI or local narcotics? What time and what date, Fred? Who placed the wire? Who, like, had you, like, what agency?
Hawkins County.
Hawkins County had you do it? What day and time?
Well, it was on the 15th, around 8:30.
So 8:30, and then that's when you walked right down. Then you walked right down there, right? And then that's when you got these conversations.
Yeah, I got down there probably 8:45 or so.
So, okay, so...
Wait.
Appreciate you being around for 8 months, Beach Armor. Wow. So see right there. Cops went to Fred's on the 15th and dipped his phone. Yeah, you've heard that. I've heard that as well. Cops did all the business there. And then right here, you just hear that he went, to them. So again, Fred says things, same story, but he changes the details. Well, when you're telling truth, details don't change. And as you can hear, Ziggy, she's just oblivious to the 14th. She's oblivious to Dobbs. And this isn't actually the clip I thought it was where they're talking about Dobbs. But she did say, she had no idea about Jackie. And I think that's a part of, if you're going to research a case or know about a case or try to come up with a theory, that you know as much as you can, what led up to it. And that's also part of what you'll hear Leslie say, that, how does she put that? Basically the facts of the case leading up to Summer's disappearance is convoluted. They don't even understand what in the world is going on here. And I could see that, so many different stories have been told. I've never seen nothing like this before in my life with the missing kids case. Never seen, the neighbors come out and start YouTube channels or be panel guests, have their own drama with each other. And it's just become a monster. It's become not about Summer. It's become more about everybody else but her. It's become who has issues with who and the shit that they do because they have problems with people, or they start having personal issues with creators. Like the clip I showed you in the beginning, she makes me sick. Why in the world? I've never done anything to Ellie personally. Why would my post talking about, just watch who you give money to, just look for truth, don't go with hearsay, get straight answers. That's what I was saying. And for my post to make her sick, yikes. Like, lady, you make me sick because you've brought so much on this platform, drama-wise, You've told your story, I don't know how many times. You've made it about you. You've made it about your parents' property. All the things, like this, when I was talking about her seeing, her sister Julie supposedly seeing some guy in a van on the 15th. Or was it a van? My bad. No. Take back everything I just said. Julie was driving a blue van, and she seen supposedly a blue Blazer. Julie was driving the blue van, and then I had seen Ellie bring up these comments in 6UP's channel saying, well, guess where that van's at now? It's up in Indiana with Fred. Maybe they should be checking this van out. Why are you saying that? You're stirring chaos, and there's no need for it.
Like, on what day? Sorry.
On the 15th, somebody was just asking him who placed the wire and what time and what date, and it was when he just said,
Fred, I did not remember seeing you on the 15th standing down there. You came through out in the truck with your trailer later on that evening. Man, you weren't standing down there and you didn't ask me no questions on the 15th. You asked me questions on the 16th, bro. I swear to God, it was the next day.
He didn't ask you questions, he said. He just recorded everything.
No, it wasn't on the 15th, bro. It was on the 16th. You got your days all concocted. You got your days all one day. You seen me on the 14th when I was dealing with Jackie Dog, and you seen me on the 16th when you come down there and talk to me and Jody Sue standing at the bottom of the road chilling. Because we was like, what the hell is he doing down here talking to us? Because you don't never talk to us like that.
Well, then you should know that he's telling the truth, right?
I'm not saying he's lying. I wasn't on the road on the 15th. I was on the road on the 14th and the 16th.
So you're saying that I didn't wire his wire and record?
No, I didn't say you. I'm saying you did not wire a wire on me on the.
What do you say, Fred? Do you think could you got that mixed up? You think?
No, there ain't no way, because they come to me on the 15th to do it. Because Donnie just left my house and they had me to do that.
How Don get to your house when they had Don on top of the hill for I don't know how long talking to him and Candace? I mean, I don't remember seeing Don and Candace around the hill at the bottom of the hill on the 15th until late that night. And he finally come off the hill. Maybe he did go to your house. I'm pretty sure he might have, but I wasn't paying that much attention.
Don and his oldest son did both come to my house.
Well, okay. I don't know. Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me just lay something right here. Did me and you hang out? Was me and you friends?
I mean, we never had a false word. I mean.
Okay. So why now?
I just trying to figure out why.
Okay. I think you get the gist of that one. They go back and forth all the time. Here's the clip I was talking about I caught. So if you don't know this voice, remember Jose Roman? Jose was found... Oh, get what I'm doing. Good God. Never. Oh, you can't see me. Never mind. Sorry, let me get together. I'll tell you what I was doing. I picked up my phone because I do a lot of voice messaging back and forth. So I picked up my phone like I was talking and recording. All right, so this is Jose Roman. Long story made short, he was friends with Hunter's dad from New York. They brought him down to Tennessee. He started staying with Candace. And Grandma took him to one of the Carolinas when Don got back from Utah, because there's this big fight, which is another misconstrued thing I hear a lot with this 911 call, where people say that they hear Summer in the background yelling, that Don's hurting her. That's not what she is saying at all in that clip. She said yucky. She called Lucky yucky. And she said yucky was hurting her. Not Dawn. Okay, so anyway, Jose is talking to Justin Farrell, and I believe ICU is on the phone call. And he's talking about a time where Summer had wandered off, and you'll hear him mention Josh Phillips. Josh Phillips was a meth user. That's what I got from this clip. And Josh Phillips is the guy who put all those, he was sharing things on Facebook at one point in time. I have all the screenshots, but I was not on Facebook at the time to see them. But he's the one that put out the information that law enforcement was telling him that they were hitting on a scent and it was Summers for sure. But we don't hear that from law enforcement. Everybody just takes it hearsay from what he said.
About around the house, and then there's a yellow bus that Grandin had all her things in it, antique stuff. So as you follow that bus, there was a shed. That was where the snake was seen most of the time, that we would tell in the animal control people. And as you follow that path and go around the roundabout, there's another house on that property that could actually have been transformed, and rented out. Well, if you follow that house, there's a little path on the left side of it, and you walk down that hill and follow this trail. There's another property of some people that live there, but they're meth heads. They were always smoking drugs, and I only know this because Summer, we were looking for her one day, and we couldn't find her. And me and Josie, that's the oldest boy, we wanted to follow that path, and we found Summer literally almost on the...
Sorry. Discovering Cindy Grant, me too. And even though I seen the death certificate, which I did too, I found out it's easy to fake those certificates online. Now I seen the Jose's death certificate off of what the heck was that lady's channel, like American True Crime. I didn't feel in any way. I didn't feel any deceit from her. Are you saying you don't believe it? Or are you just making a point that, death certificates can be faked? So I think I didn't finish what I was saying earlier, that Jose, I guess I'll say allegedly, was found in California, and he had overdosed. And on the death certificate that was shared, I believe fentanyl was on there. So you'll see or hear a lot of people say that Jose offed himself. I don't think that's the case. I think it was an accidental overdose.
Their property, and they were there, calling on her, asking her what she's doing there alone, where her mother was, and then me and Josie wound up showing up, and we wound up grabbing her, and Josie was telling her, what you doing down here? We're looking for you. Mom doesn't want you down here. We had to bring her back up the hill.
Do you know?
Those people were very sketchy, and I told Candace, you got to be careful, because those type of people that are on drugs all the time, when they don't get their little hit or whatever, they're capable of anything.
Do you remember their names?
No, I do not. No.
If I told you a few names, do you think you would remember? Like Fred?
I think one was Joshua, I think it was, and that was the guy's name. The woman, I really didn't know, but I think his name was Joshua, the guy that lived there.
Okay. Did you ever meet another Don or Donald?
Yes, actually I have. That's the guy that lived on the main road, but maybe it's like a mile down, because one time the boys were riding their four-wheelers, and Don went looking for them, and I was with him, and that's where the boys were, in Donald's property.
Donald Sherfay, or Sherfay, however you say it?
We have still do not know who Joshua is or what he's even talking about there, to be honest with you. I thought Josie was in Utah with Don. He was up until the last maybe...
To the bottom property. So this is where Summer went. And she went on to the property of someone called Josh. Now, who's the guy who lives on the Beach Creek property whose woods backs onto the back end of Simpson Road, so it joins with the properties.
It's Michelle Walks, or it might have been on her After Dark channel. Either way, she pushes that the footprints are real, only by going that this Josh Phillips guy says they're real, so they must be. I went to Tennessee in 2024, I think 2024, and we came in from the Kingsport side. We passed Ben Hill. I think I'm saying that right. And we went down to the Beach Creek Market and stopped there. I filmed, and then I filmed from the Beach Creek Market all the way down to 110. And on the right hand side of the road, before the shed, are some trailers pushed back there. And I think this is the area that Josh lives in.
That kind of connect with Ben Hill. It's Josh. It's Mr. Phillips, Josh Phillips, the guy who reported the footprints, Summers' footprints on his land. I believe that the directions that Jose gave us onto Josh's land was onto Josh Phillips' land. I'm assuming that that's the Josh. There may be other Joshes in the area. I may have got it completely wrong, but following the directions that Jose gave us, that's where it takes us. So is that a really weird coincidence that Summer in, well, let's say...
Did you see him like coming out of the driveway?
Give me 1 second. I have so many different things that have been said. Like like this one where I think she called it Puppygate. Ziggy was going over her interviews with Fred, and she had said that she had asked him if it was possible Summer could have been in one of those cars that he hauled that day. And he said, yeah. Well, for one, Fred's saying he didn't haul any cars, so why would he say it's possible that she would be in one of the cars he hauled?
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies. Oh, no, no.
People don't do their homework. Like, the thing is, people talk shit about the CPS stuff, about Fred, just about several things like I've done or people I've talked to. And they always twist things. It's never correct. It's like if they would just listen, they would understand, but they don't want to listen. That's the thing. They want content. They want something to go against, and they want to make it into something salacious and just much more exciting, like, oh gosh, a rendezvous with Fred Hill,
People need to tell the truth. Not.
Yeah, Miss Kathy Gordon, they do. And you see that I was circling February 28th because that's when she went live from Kathy's house, and Fred's there. He had an out day, and I believe during that time, that's when Ziggy was having Fred do, a little bit of undercover work in Knoxville, trying to find Playboy, or this is a time that Fred was talking to this DJ Smith on the phone, stating that he had all these kids, including Summer, in this hotel room, but he never got a video or a picture of her, and we've never heard of anybody being busted for having these kids in a hotel room. I believe that would come to light if that was the truth. Yet again, another reason why these videos that Killer put out, if you just look beyond what it is that Fred or Ziggy has said about Knoxville, make common sense about it, if it was true, okay, then wouldn't we, the public, hear something about that? Or, I mean, I even had a problem with Fred, the way he said it. Fred said that, you know, if he thought Summer was at some hotel, why not from day one, second one, reach out to law enforcement and say, hey, I believe that Summer Wells is being held at a hotel somewhere, instead of Fred playing these little detective games and, you know, trying to catch them doing whatever. It wasn't right. So again, I was circling the February 28th because she made that statement. You know, you guys think I'm down here having a deja vu with Fred. Well, she was, because if this whole marriage thing is real, they got married in what, April? I think 40 days later. So you were doing something, you know, you don't go from knowing this man and speaking with him to marrying him without something going on.
Not go and add on to it.
Do you think that Dawn really said that to that Rick Crawford guy? Or do you think
He did it like this. When she went missing, within, when I come in about 7 o'clock that evening, she done do all everything. Well, I was probably coming by 8.
But you had already been in.
The whole holler shut down, you know.
You had already been in earlier that day, though, right? You were already in earlier that day, right? That's just when you
Yeah,
came.
I've been here all day up to about, I don't know, probably about 5, 5:30 or something there. And that's when I went out. And then I come back in and got my trailer to haul that motorcycle. So that probably put it around 6:30 or something over, between 6 and 6:30.
So right before
I
she.
didn't see nothing, nobody got there.
Right when she was.
Nothing. At that time, you know. But when I come back in from go shore and taking that motorcycle, I ended up with another motorcycle on trailer coming back with it. She was sitting out there. But, my mind went blank for a second.
You were saying how you went back in at 7. You were about to say something about when you came back in at 7, and I asked you.
I think exactly.
You got grabbed the trailer and motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how I want to say here, you know.
Oh, why?
How I
Something.
want to word it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if there was something you weren't supposed to say.
I come in. Say I come in at 8 o'clock. Well, the holler shut down. Well, I come on up here, and then I actually walk back down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is weird because just like within hours of the mission, like Andy's daughter, the one that he's supposed to told that he seen her body. See, everybody.
Good indication right here that he has his days mixed up. Gavel Geeks just did. She may have said this on her live, or she may have said it when she was on Ryan's live, but she pointed it out where you hear Fred saying that Andy was talking about, you know, the whole story about him seeing Summer's dead body. And right here, he's saying that Andy was saying it the night she went missing, which was the 15th. But along with that story, he talks about, getting the story together in my head. EquuSearch spoke about, and EquuSearch didn't come in there till the 18th. So Andy would not have been talking about this on the 15th. It would have at least been till at least the 18th. So again, showing his days confused. And before that, you heard him say, you know, he was there all day till 5:30. He has said several times, he just simply does not remember what time he was there till. Which is fine. Just say that. Just say, you know, I really don't remember what time I left. But Juzo Pete's, when you say, you know, 3:30, 4:35, 5:30, even 6:30, which that can't even be right. One of the times he says, I was out or I was here all day till 6:30, or I came back in at 6:30 and I didn't see anyone. That can't be true, because by 6:30, even the neighbors were out and alerted that Summer was missing. And, you got Jody down there and Candace, wherever she was by 6:30.
Out of that day, and he down there, and he loved it. He didn't know why she even said that, because Jody Sue asked him right then, why did.
Well, see, if something like that happened, Boo. Oh, I remember what I asked.
Here it is. This is where she asked him about Summer being in the car. And I get silly tired too.
Asked him, because if something like that happened and he did tow out something that had a body in it, he would not have been aware of it. It would have had to have been that. I did ask him if he thinks that there's a chance that Candace or somebody stashed Summer in one of the vehicles that he was towing out that day. He did say that. I said, would it have been possible? Like, could somebody have done that without you knowing? And he did say yes. So I do remember that. He did say, yeah, it's possible, I suppose. Like, because I was always going down to my mom's house, and actually, I don't know if it was him I asked or I might have asked both him and his girlfriend.
You think he was home that day? Where? Oh, you saw him? Where'd you see him at?
At his house, because I was in and out. I wasn't drunk that day. I was hauling a bunch of cars and stuff out. And like Andy, he was saying.
So right there, you just heard Fred say, I was in and out all day, hauling cars off. Yeah.
Call 911. She walked down here. You don't remember what time that was?
He was out at 3.
He's talking about Candace walking down there. He said that to her in a jail phone call, that Candace was caught walking on a camera down to his house, and that story slowly changed. He said that his cameras had still shots, but then the last time he spoke about them on Tiffany's panel, he goes on to say that his camera at 207 was pointed at the trailer, and it caught Candace coming in, and Chad was there, and that you could even hear what they were talking about. And then he goes on to parrot the story of Clinch Mountain. I've heard several things about someone was supposedly there with Chad. I've heard Fred say that Marvin was on camera that day. I've heard people say Cotton, but I haven't heard that Cotton was on camera. There's too many stories.
I think it was probably about 4:30 when it goes up.
Wow. She didn't call.
Because where I hold cars, if I wasn't there before 4 o'clock, they wouldn't take them. That was about 3:30 when I got loaded. That's when Andy come in around that time. Like, I was loading it. Then we left and just went on to the store at about 4:30. Because.
So you think Summer went missing around 4:30 was the time that she came over?
Yeah, it's something between.
Because she didn't call till 6:30.
I left here at like 4:30, and then when I come back in, they done had the holler shut down. And I had to take them. I mean, they let me in. They had to move everything to let me in.
You would think to a degree that everybody's a little bit autistic, like it's a spectrum. Some just very, very low.
Welcome to the motherfucking carnival.
They say if you can't.
This video right here is a copy of all the screenshots from that Josh Phillips. I don't think it's public, but I can make it public. That way you guys can look at it and see exactly what he says. But basically, the only thing said that I've heard about footprints comes from this right here, this guy's statements. And when Dave Radar was talking, he said it was rumor. Then Lawson says about what you heard earlier in the live, he said that the dogs lost scent from gravel to driveway. And, you know, who's to say where he got his information from? He didn't say. So I will make this one public if you'd like to look at that. Here is Jody's helicopter video.
Now,
I don't believe she walks, Sandy. See, that's my whole point with Fred. When Fred talks, Fred parrots a lot of things. When I say parrot, I mean mimic, you know, repeat. The first 911 call, or dispatch, I'm sorry, that came out, you hear that the lady say, the father said the mother went for a walk. So I think he got it from that she was walking, but everything else points to she drove down to his house. And I've shown receipts from Ellie, Fred's sister, was talking to Miss Chambers, which is, you know, they call it Blue Roof Dawn, his wife, Carolyn. She was speaking to her, and they were texting back and forth, and they got on the subject of Chad, and Miss Chambers had said that, I will show you. Miss Chambers said that Chad had been at her house after the cops were called, which would be after 6, but before the cops got there, which would be before 7. So from that, if you take Miss Chambers' words, then we get that Chad Arnold was at Fred's between 6 and 7. I know I've got this. Looky there. Then from Miss Marvin Simpson and Miss Beautiful Glenda. Yeah. See, when you hear channels talking about Marvin Simpson and how just Fred was cleared in Cotton's case, you tend to forget that old Marvin Simpson was also in the vehicle with Fred following Cotton before he was found dead. So you might want to think about, you know, the story you're being told when it's being told secondhand and by, I would say, another person of interest in Cotton's case. It's blue. Here's a good one. I showed this screenshot right here, and I made a community post about it because I noticed that the comment on Jody's screen. See, hold on. Let me zoom in and see if I can see it. It's supposedly the chatter is DJ Smith. Good to know that you're not standing in front of Andy B anymore. Just curious, did he pimp your ass out in Knoxville, Tennessee, like he did other places? But if you look at the bottom, let me look if I'm circling it. See right there what I'm circling? That is the same profile picture as this one. Wait a minute, can you see my pointer? Oh, hold on, I'm looking at my TV to see if you can see it. I don't think you can. Okay, so anyway, my point is, whoever left this comment is the one who took the screenshot picture, right? Because you can't be on someone else's profile. So whoever made this profile and wrote that in her chat is that person. Well, the screenshot came from a conversation between Fred and PG. So Fred was pretending to be DJ Smith. So Fred does fuck around. Yeah, everyone has their story. They sure do. I've actually got cork boards I put pictures on sometimes. I printed out a bunch of pictures, like a picture of everybody. Just have a visual. I hope you have a nice nap, Sage. I've seen the stuff you're posting, but I don't know about it. Your Anna Luna stuff. I don't know what that's all about. He said he slept all day June 14th. Yeah, but I don't think he did, because he actually, well, one of the things he said was he seen that white HHR every day up until the 15th. And then when he's talking to Andy, and Andy asks Fred if he had seen Dobbs' blazer sitting down at Jody's, he said yeah, which was the 14th. So if he admits that he's seen Jackie Dobbs' vehicle, then he wasn't sleeping. Okay. Hold up, wait a minute. Well, I know I got it, but I'm not seeing it. If you go to my video, it's got Chad's name in it. I believe it's at the end, the screenshot of their conversations at the end, where she talks about what time Chad was in there. I'm gonna play the rest of this while I look for something else real quick. That's horrible. I slowed that down. That's why it sounds like it. I was trying to see if the picture right there, I was trying to see if that was Fred's trailer, but I don't think it is. It could be, but I don't think it is. Credit goes to Crystal's Crime Time. I just caught that I had this one today, and she's playing a different 911 call about some drunk guy. I've got that other yucky call on here. I had just downloaded a short clip before I came live of Chris McDonough talking, and he was pushing. It didn't even make sense, and I know the guy's got sense. He was saying that, okay, so whoever came into this basement door was watching this schmut, and it happened to be a screenshot of, where the girl's flipping her tits out. Well, it wouldn't have been on, that same thing wouldn't have been on. You'd have to watch it. I'm not going to say it right. What do I want to show you? What do I want to show you? Okay, so I don't think a trigger warning needs to be given because I don't believe that something inappropriate was said here, like a lot of people push out. And who said that discovering you're right? PG has said some very vile things. I have heard PG, she blames Hunter. She says that Hunter took care of Summer, that he offed Summer at the pond. I just don't see how she can put that on him, And so you're going to hear this 911 call. This was apparently when Candace was drunk, Jose was there, Candy was there, Grandma was there, Summer was there, the boys were there. I think the oldest boy was with Dawn, and a fight breaks out that night, and she's trying to get Dawn, arrested. It has nothing to do with Summer being hurt or raped. I'm sorry to say that word, but that word is said many times that, you know, that's what this is about, and it's not. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because something's not lining up here. I see what you see is Jody's picture still, and I've had this video on for a few minutes now, so I'm wondering what in the world you guys are hearing or seeing. That makes no sense. Let me turn my TV up real quick. Hold on. Something's not lining up here. Oh, see, I hear myself. What the hell? Okay. No big deal. No big deal. Share.
That's what everything was about Summer being in that shower. Yet she says he done something to Summer. Was in the shower with him. She was in the shower. The big fight broke out because Jose made Candace get Summer out of that shower. That's what everything was about Summer.
Well, that makes no sense right there. First off, because Don wasn't there yet. Don was coming home from Utah. It wasn't about the shower.
Being in that shower. Yet she says he done something to Summer. He done something to her. And he's still trying to get her, she says. Still trying to get her. He always tries to hurt Summer. He always tries to hurt her.
Oh, shit.
Now they call Summer Sissy. They're talking about Summer. They said Sissy hurts.
After this clip, you're going to hear about, I think it's a 6-minute video from A.F. Pennington where she tried to clean up.
Now that's the 911 call. That's the 911 call.
Earlier today, somebody sent a video to me, alleged to contain audio of a call made to police by Candace Bly, which purports to have Summer in the background, crying for help. It is also being alleged that a claim regarding Summer is then made by Candace Bly to the police. Upon receiving the audio file, it was immediately apparent that the audio is also not of a good quality. This increases the chances, therefore, of listeners interpreting the audio differently. To avoid accusations of leading the audience toward my own interpretation, I have removed all visuals, so as to remove visual prompts regarding what is alleged to be being said. Firstly, here is the audio, as it is being featured on various channels today.
right there. You hear Summer saying, Mom, Mommy, yucky. I've heard it with headphones before. She's alluding to Yucky the dog. Grabbed her blanket. Grabbed her blankie. Couldn't tell you what Candace just said right there. Candace is drunk off her ass. He's always trying to hurt Summer. She's not talking about Dawn. She's talking about the dog.
I next enhance the audio and reduce the background noise in an attempt to ascertain what is being said.
Here's what she did. She's using a pro.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I got one more for you, and then I am going to go. I appreciate everyone tuning in, listening, watching. There's just, when I try to think of, okay, what can I play that, goes with what makes sense, there's always just so many clips, and I end up going, different ways, and man. Oh, here's one. Here's where
That the TBI released over and over and over.
this is the one where Ansley Daniel says that Candace told her Summer was in the house.
This area, just to see if they'd missed anything from June. They concentrated on this area.
Report came from Wells siblings.
She was last seen outside of her home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road, which is located in the Beach Creek community of Hawkins County. A family member reported her missing to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at approximately 6:30 Tuesday evening.
From what my wife has told me and stuff.
Well, there's a 6:30 time, and she said a family member, which would be Uno.
Her and her mother and Summer were planting flowers by her grandma's trailer, which is about, 20 feet from the house there, real close to the house. Summer all of a sudden said, Mom, I want to go in the house. So she said, fine. And her brothers were in there watching YouTube. And so she watched her walk in the door and went in there. And then she went in there and her brother said that she was going to go downstairs and play with her toys. So she went downstairs and then Mom come in and says, where's Summer? Well, she's downstairs playing with her toys. And they hollered for her and there was no answer. So she went downstairs and she was nowhere to be found.
Well, she said that, she went inside to do something, came back out, checked on Summer a couple minutes later, and next thing you know, she was gone. That, she went inside our cruise this morning as well. She said that, she went inside to do something, came back out, checked on Summer a couple minutes later, and next thing you know, she was gone.
Yeah. 1 second, okay? All right. So that was it. That was it. Again, thank you for being here with me. Almost 3 hours went by. That's crazy. I am sorry that I was late. I'm always late. Expect that. I'm always late. It's just me. What I was going to play you was a clip from where Ryan, which you can find on his channel if you haven't already heard it, where he interviews, the Wallens. They're sitting in the backyard at the table, and they're telling him that, hey, look, we got called there at 5:30, and we seen Fred in there. Are they lying? Or is everybody else lying? The Wallens are connected to Cotton. Cotton is a subject of Ryan's that he's been on basically from day one. He's been looking for a cave that supposedly something that Fred had said when he was in jail. I don't know what he thinks he's gonna find in this alleged cave. Cotton supposedly was found 60 foot from a cave, but that's based off of what Fred said. But then Ryan does a whole series of videos to prove that Fred is a liar. So that didn't quite click with me there on a few levels. So I will see you next time. It'll probably be here shortly, because I am wanting to talk about the trafficking theory with my buddy. She wanted to touch up a little bit before she spoke on things, so I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the research. So I will see you guys next time.